What's up interweb, RhyQuinn here and welcome to my second ever top 10. This is a sequel to the first one, as this top 10 will be looking at my personal top 10 favourite Generation 2 Pokémon. Just like the first top 10, I'm excluding starters, legendaries, evolutions, pre-evolutions and mega evolutions that these Pokémon might have got in future generations. So I'm basing the list off how I felt when I first played the original games, in this case Gold, Silver and Crystal. So bearing all that in mind, let's start the list.
Number 10.
Ampharos. Generation 2 added 8 new electric type Pokemon to the original 9 from Generation 1, and Ampharos manages to be the best of the bunch. Its name is a combination of Amp, a unit of electric current measurement, and Pharos, the Greek name for lighthouse. And wouldn't you know it, where does Jasmine's Ampharos live? In Olivine Lighthouse. Not only does it share its name with a lighthouse, it is a lighthouse. Literally. The Pokédex states that Ampharos is used as a beacon for lost people, with the crystal entry making a point to mention the ocean's surface. Hence why it was being used as a beacon in the games. Ampharos also looks super cool with the stats to back it up. Although this isn't part of my criteria for judging them, and it didn't influence my results at all, one cool little fact I found out about Ampharos is that its Japanese name, Denryu, can mean electric dragon. Remind you of anyone?
Number 9.
Ariados. Ariados is one cool looking Pokemon. Look at all these colours, it's so pretty! Anyway, Ariados is based off the spider. However, the two ends of the spider are switched around. Why, you might ask? Well, it fits in perfectly with its gold Pokédex entry. It spins string not only from its rear, but also from its mouth. It's hard to tell which end is which. Hard to tell which end is which, and they switched them. Isn't that just the best? No? Still not impressed? Alright, check this out. Its name originates from the tale of Theseus and Ariadne, wherein Ariadne gave Theseus a ball of twine before he entered the labyrinth to take on the Minotaur. This was so he could follow the strand back to her after he finished slaying things. Now compare that tale to Ariados' silver Pokédex entry. A single strand of special string is endlessly spun out of its rear. The string leads back to its nest. Get it now? This is probably one of the best Pokédex / design / name origin links I've ever heard, and for that, Ariados takes number 9.
Number 8.
Hitmontop. This fighting type Pokemon is on the list for one reason, its Pokédex entry in Pokemon Gold. If you become enchanted by its smooth, elegant dance-like kicks, you may get drilled hard. Must resist temptation. So many inappropriate jokes. But seriously though, Hitmontop isn't only on this list for that one reason. He's also a hard-kicking dude with 3 legs and has his own signature move, Triple Kick. While it isn't the greatest move, Triple Kick is a move that still sounds pretty awesome anyway. Its silver Pokédex entry redeems it slightly, saying that Hitmontop launches kicks while spinning. If it spins at high speed, it may bore its way into the ground. Sounds like you might bite off a little more than you can chew when you use Rapid Spin on this guy, and you end up using Dig instead.
Number 7.
Heracross. This guy. Look at that horn. Heracross is awesome for lots of reasons. He's based off the Japanese rhinoceros beetle, and if you missed my first top 10, I said that rhinos were one of my favourite animals. Anything that puts Heracross closer to rhinos is awesome. These beetles are used in insect fighting, hence Heracross is fighting type. Also, his name is based off Heracles, a demigod in Greek mythology. That's right, Heracross is a demigod. Based off of Heracross's attack stat, it sure as hell seems like it. Just look at it. 125. 125. Not only that, but he also has decent defenses, with 75 in defense and 95 in special defense. This makes Heracross a massive threat. The Pokédex states that Heracross thrusts its prized horn under its enemies' bellies, then lifts and throws them. Just imagine for a second. How awesome would that be? For that image, Heracross takes number 7.
Number 6.
Donphan. Donphan is most known for rollout, and looking awesome while doing it. However, this isn't the only reason that Donphan is on this list. He looks freaking awesome even while not doing rollout, and is possibly based off dwarf or pygmy elephants. But don't let his small size fool you. the Pokemon Gold Pokédex entry states that its tackle is strong enough to knock down a house. A house! You see this thing? A house? Then you see this thing? A Donphan? Boom! No more house. This Pokemon is crazy strong, as shown by its base 120 attack stat. It also has 120 base defense as well, making it a huge physical threat, both offensively and defensively. For all of this, plus sharing its deck classification with Tyranitar as the armor Pokemon, Donphan takes the number 6 slot.
Number 5.
Scizor. The evolutions. I've already touched on Hitmontop earlier, but Scizor is up there with the best of them. I've always said, and I still maintain, that the best evolutions that are introduced in later generations are the ones that feel like they're from the same generation as the pre-evolution. You will see here and later on in this list, that is a big plus in my book. That's what makes Pokemon like Scizor so awesome. He could be a Generation 1 Pokemon and no one would even notice. They nailed this evolution, making the already awesome Scyther even cooler by making him a Steel type and adding new features such as claw heads and giving him a nice red paint job. Plus his attack stat is 130. I'm going to say that again. 130. Remember how Donphan could destroy a house? His attack stat was 120. Scizor, using this continuity, should be able to destroy a house as well, and then some. Awesome work by Game Freak here. This is how you nail an evolution introduced in a later generation. But it's still not the best one on this list.
Number 4.
Kingdra. Speaking of nailed evolutions, who actually remembers a time when the Horsey line ended with Seadra? Kingdra fits in so perfectly with the rest of this evolutionary line that I easily forget it was introduced in a later generation. Just like Generation 1, the Pokédex entries here are equally as crazy. The Pokemon Gold Dex entry for Kingdra states that it can create whirlpools by yawning. Yawning? Anyone that is familiar with my Pokemon Zeta playthrough knows I named my Horsey Maelstrom, and this is the reason why. I can just picture it now. Oh, I'm getting really tired. Time to go to sleep, I think. Oh, shh. And because yawns are contagious, it will be a never-ending cycle, a chain reaction of whirlpools. For that mental image, Kingdra takes number 4.
Number 3.
Houndoom. Taking the first of the medals is Houndoom. Man, what a Pokemon. Did you hear that cry? So awesome. So scary, in fact, that other Pokemon get the shivers and head straight back to their nests, according to the Pokemon Silver Dex entry for Houndoom. I don't blame them. Quick side note, away from the top 10, how does Houndoom not have Intimidate as an ability and yet Snubble and Shinx do? Pokelogic. Anyway, back to the top 10. The Pokemon Gold entry states that if you are burned by the flames it shoots from its mouth, the pain will never go away. God damn. Any Pokemon that gets hit with a fire attack from Houndoom should be permanently burned. And look at this guy's design. There's all this, and this, and this, and that. So cool. And that is why Houndoom takes the bronze medal, in at number 3.
Number 2.
Crowbar. We return now to another Pokemon that's an evolution of a Pokemon from Generation 1. One of the best later evolutions ever. Crowbar fits so perfectly with Zubat and Golbat that I bet most people forget it was introduced later than them. It does exactly what it needs to, building on Golbat and making it even more badass. Its legs have now changed into wings, as if it had actually evolved in real life. These extra wings allow it to be ninja-like, stealthily flying through the air without detection. And isn't it appropriate that Koga, the ninja, uses the Ninja Bat as a Pokemon in the Johto Pokemon League? Crobat's base speed is crazy as well, at a nice and powerful 130. It'll be outspeeding everything on the damn field. And it'll be hitting hard with a decent 90 base attack stat as well. And he has an awesome cry too. Never overlook the power of an awesome cry. And wait till you see this, the icing on the cake, Crobat's origin. Just look at what it's based on. Okay, maybe not. That may have been the most obvious origin ever. But despite that, Crobat is too badass to ignore and takes the silver medal at number 2.
Number 1.
Steelix. Now, before you ask where Tyranitar is on this list, remember I'm judging this list based on how I felt when I played the original games. And when I played the original games, I never got a Tyranitar. Otherwise it definitely would have been on here. Having said that, Steelix is in another category altogether. Another evolution of a Pokemon from Generation 1, and one that fits just as perfectly as Kingdra, Crowbar and Scizor. Introducing the brand new Steel type in Generation 2 was eye-opening for me as a kid. I couldn't believe that Magnemite had changed typing and this new unknown type had been introduced. The Steel type nowadays is quite possibly my favourite type, and Steelix kick-started it all. My word, just look at this guy. Words cannot describe how badass he is. You thought Onix was badass? Psh! Child's play for Steelix. Listen to this cry again and tell me your heart doesn't flutter just slightly out of fear. Good God. The first time I saw this was when Jasmine sent it out in the gym battle. I couldn't believe my eyes. Wait, what? They evolved Onix? This was obviously in the days I just bought the game and played with no prior information on what they had changed in the games, so seeing that Steelix come out was just incredible. And what a beast he is. I'm just going to leave this base defense stat here for you all to admire. And it's no surprise his base defense stat is too damn high when you look at his Pokemon Gold Dex entry, which states it is harder than a diamond. Now you know why your tackle from Quilava did absolutely nothing to him. For all of these reasons, Steelix deservedly takes the gold medal and the #1 spot. So that was my personal top 10 favourite Generation 2 Pokemon. If you disagree with my list or think there are other Pokemon that should be on this list that weren't, then you can leave a comment down below. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to leave a like. You can find me on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and you can subscribe to the channel and join the RhyQuinn army today. Thank you very much for watching, guys, and I will see you next time. Peace!